Hello, everyone. Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Altenew October blog hop, and they have just released these gorgeous watercolor brush markers. So I'm going to show you how I created a couple of projects using them. And I swatched out these little beauties. Up in the left-hand corner there, you can see my little swatch chart with the names. And I'm going to go in that same order. So I started with Midnight Violet. And I have a panel. I'm working on a panel of Arches watercolor paper, the cold press. So this color here is Rubellite. And as you can see, I scribble with the marker first. And then I take a wet brush, just with water, and fade it on up the hill. This is about as easy as you can get. It's a great swatching exercise. So now Autumn Blaze, again, heavy, full vibrancy with the marker, and then with a wet brush, I fade it on up. And then in between each stripe, I heat it with the heat gun and dry it completely. And that allows me to get that beautiful overlap in between each color when you dry it. So it doesn't blend or bleed. It gives you that gorgeous overlap. So now this one is Warm Sunshine. This next color, as much as I hate to show favoritism, this is my favorite color, Limeade. It's just absolute perfection. I mean, look at it. Just look at it. So, I mean, this project should give you zero intimidation. You know what I mean? Now, the next color in the swatch chart is actually Moss, but I skipped it and went on to Emerald because at about this point I realized I'm not going to be able to fit every color on this panel. So I had to get choosy. And I just loved Emerald, and I definitely wanted to get Sea Breeze in there, so I had to pick and choose. So this next color is Sea Breeze. And then I'm going to go back to that Midnight Violet because that is probably my second favorite color, and I wanted to just get a little bit more of that Midnight Violet in with the blue. So I do want to say when you take the caps off the markers, do it over a napkin or something because they're drippy. You know, and if you want to try to control the vibrancy, have a paper towel, and you can always be wiping your marker on a paper towel if it gets too wet. Now what I'm going to do for a sentiment is I took these bold caps alpha dyes and I spelled out love wins. I'm taking some painter's tape to adhere this whole thing together now that I've got it lined up and straight and centered, and I'm just going to die cut it right into a panel of Neenah Solar White cardstock. So I've got this on my Big Shot, running it through. Then I'm going to carefully remove that tape. It's best if you pull the tape on an angle, less chance of rippage. Because, yeah, this is my second panel. First one ripped. Popping this up, I kind of moved it over to the top because I like how that looked better. And then I'll just trim off that excess. Then I'll simply put some tape runner on the back and adhere this to a white card base. I don't know if you're familiar with Carrie Underwood. She's a fantastic country singer, but she has a new song titled Love Wins, and it is great. A little bit of inspiration for the sentiment on that card. So now I'm moving on to the second card. I've got another panel of Arches watercolor paper here, and I'm stamping with probably my most loved, most used #1 favorite stamp set from Altenew of all time. And that is a large introduction there. This is SOHCAHTOA. And it's just, I'm in triangle heaven whenever I use it. You know, when you use stamps so much that they're not as sticky on the stamp packaging. They're kind of loose. Like I probably need to wash them with soap and water. That's how much they've been used. Okay, and I'm going to just paint these triangles with the watercolor brush markers. Using the same colors that I used in my other card. I don't have my swatch chart sitting there, so I'm probably have trouble remembering all the names. But I believe that first one was Rubellite, and this one here looks like Warm Sunshine. I believe this is Sea Breeze. So again, going heavy with a little bit at the beginning, then I take a wet brush and fade it on up. The fading, the gradient, is the secret ingredient to all cards. And then here's Autumn Blaze. So I try to dry in between. That way I can get that overlap. Sometimes it bleeds and there's just nothing you can do about it. Like that one bottom triangle I did dusk and it kind of bled into the Rubellite. But what you going to do? Now there was a couple little boo-boos where I went outside the lines. But I got my trusty little white gel pen there, and I just go around and touch up, just like concealer on the face. And then again, popping this up, I went ahead and embossed a little sentiment also from the SOHCAHTOA. It's just a simple little hello. And then a few little sparkling clear sequins to finish it off. And these 2 cards are finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure and check out the rest of the Blog Hop for more inspiration using these new watercolor brush markers. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.